I'm going to show you how you can show your ex that you've changed. A lot of people who are starting the no contact rule want to know how they can show their ex that they've changed if their ex is not hearing from them. And I'm going to answer that. I'm going to give you some more thoughts on that. I'm going to give you some very specific things that you can do right now. First, you need to know that right after the breakup or at the breakup itself, your ex does not care that much about whether you change or not, mostly because they don't want the relationship right now, and they don't believe that you'll really change, and they know that there hasn't been enough time to pass for it to be a legitimate change. So here's the deal. Even though there might be issues that your ex is wanting you to change and has maybe wanted you to change for a long time, at the breakup, they don't care about those issues. Stay with me on this. Basically, those things, maybe that you did, the way that you interacted, things you did not do, caused a drop in attraction. And it was pretty severe. It took a while to happen. It didn't just happen overnight, most likely, but it took a while to happen. And when it did happen, even if you could snap your fingers and change instantly, it would not change how your ex feels yet. The reason for that is because the damage has been done. Their attraction for you is lower than it was. And it's too low for them to want to be in the relationship anymore. So because they are not attracted to you, even if you were to make a sudden change, it takes a while for there to actually be an impact. Now, this is not always the case. Sometimes making a change on something really quickly can have an immediate effect. But it's usually before they break up with you, because they don't want to just break up with you and then say, oh, okay, never mind. I'm just kidding. Let's stay together. That's going to make them feel like they aren't stable. They're going to think that they look ridiculous to you, and they won't trust it because they know that they wrestled with this for a while. Like I've said in a lot of videos, this didn't just happen overnight. It was usually weeks or months or sometimes even years where they're going back and forth with themselves in their mind, and they're trying to talk themselves out of it, and they're not able to, or the situation gets worse as far as they can see. And so those changes actually don't have much of an impact because their attraction is so low for you. It will take time before they have motivation to actually care that you have changed. And therein lies the problem. Because a lot of people think, well, then I have got to bust my butt to show them that I have changed. So maybe the breakup just happened a couple of days ago. Now the person who's been broken up with is contacting them constantly, showing up, sending them messages, maybe gifts, and saying, I've changed. Look, I've changed. Watch this. You see how I'm doing this better? And they think that that's all it's going to take. They don't understand that attraction is the big issue here and that those other issues may have caused it, but you have to go back in reverse order. And so you have to start with the matter of attraction. And that's what a lot of people don't understand because they think if I make the change, then they will be attracted to me again. It actually does not work that way most of the time. So that's where giving them the breakup, backing off, letting them experience life without you and experience a real breakup is so important. It's just vital. And you cannot rush the process. So be patient. Patience is a superpower for you in this situation. Some changes take time. Like if it's weight loss, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a few weeks, months to really start to see some progress. So you need to go ahead and do that if that's part of it, because sometimes the physical part plays a role here. The good news is that once that happens, it's visible. So they can see it. You don't have to say, hey, I've changed. I've lost weight. They can see it if they see you. If they don't, that's another matter. But no contact is still the way to go to get them to where they even care, to where it even matters to them, to where they want to see you, they want to interact with you, and they're considering the idea of getting back together with you. If it's a change they can't see, so let's say it's an emotional change. Maybe you're not as argumentative. Maybe you're not as dramatic. Maybe you allow more peace. Maybe you are more affectionate with them and show them equal affection or greater affection. Whereas before you were not affectionate enough or it was one-sided. Maybe you're going to stop rejecting them, something like that. If you just tell them that you've changed, first of all, it makes it look like you're just changing to try to get them back. So it doesn't look like you're changing because you want to and because you know you need to. Their attitude will basically be, oh, so I have to break up with you to get you to change. And then that causes them to be angry and bitter at you, which pushes it further down the road in the opposite direction. And you don't want that. So it's very important, and I strongly recommend that you don't tell them, hey, I've changed. Do you see that I've changed? Look how I'm doing this better. However, if it's a matter that they really took issue with, they complained about a lot, and you are making a promise to change, or you're telling them that you understand the problem, that you will change it, that's something you should do. You should just do it once. Ideally, it would be when they break up with you. If you haven't done that and there is an issue, or there are multiple issues that they have said this is a problem and you know it's a problem, then you do need to reach out and tell them. But don't say it as though you're telling them, okay, I've said this, so now let's get back together. Because first of all, that seems manipulative. They won't believe it, and their attraction's not high enough yet to want to do that. They want to see it, but at the same time, they don't care so much because their attraction's low, and it will take time for that to come back, and then it will matter a whole lot. So only tell them if it is an issue that they have brought up, and it's an issue where you have not said that you're working to change it. If they know that you're working to change, then you don't have to say it again. As a matter of fact, I don't recommend that you say it again because it will look manipulative like I mentioned before. The best thing to do is to stay away from them, to stay in no contact, and let them experience the negatives of being away from you. Let them reflect on the good times, and at least come back to the table to where they're open and they're wanting to talk, they're wanting to interact a little bit and just kind of see what they feel. A lot of people think that no contact is supposed to make them completely want to get back together with you. Sometimes it does, and I'm really happy when it does. And as a matter of fact, that happens a decent amount of the time. But a lot of times what no contact will do is get them to the table to where they do miss you. They are able to reflect and see that there were good times with you. And they may think that the breakup might have been hasty. It might have been a mistake. And so they just kind of want to start interacting with you to see what they feel, to see if maybe you have made some small changes. Doesn't mean they'll dive in right away, but they at least want to see that. And so they are coming to the table, so to speak, to talk with you about it. That's where no contact can get you. The rest is going to be, have you changed? Has attraction risen? Are you going to be the person that maybe you were when the relationship was really good? Or are you willing to let the relationship progress? Maybe it had reached a peak. Maybe this person wanted a stronger commitment and they were hoping for a relationship that would end in marriage, something to where the relationship is moving forward. And if that wasn't there, then that can happen. Take a quick second, get more information on my emergency breakup kit. It's a powerful guide to help you get your ex back, and you can get it at myexbackcoach.com. That's myexbackcoach.com. The link is in the description below. But your changes won't matter until attraction goes back up and they have a renewed sense of appreciation for you and the relationship. And oftentimes that doesn't happen until they feel like they have lost it, or they might have. So now that you two are talking and you get this opportunity to show them, maybe in the way that you interact with them, you can show them that you've changed. Be patient. The key here is patience, because you will want to overwhelm them with evidence. That seems like what you need to do. What you really need to do to give yourself the best chance of this progressing and building back into the relationship that you want is you need to be patient enough to let them see it in parts. You don't have to give it back to them all at once and show them all the changes all at once. You want them to slowly come back to the relationship, because if it's too quick, if it happens too quickly, a lot of times they can get buyer's remorse. They just feel like they have been swung around too quickly and they don't trust themselves. They wonder if your changes are authentic. Speed here is not your friend. You want the changes to be something that they see over a period of time so that they believe it. You will have opportunities. They will come up. And even a small example can be very helpful. You're just looking for progress here. You're just looking for small steps in the right direction. That's how you're going to rebuild your relationship. The quick things go out just as quickly, and it's very important for you to know that. One thing that can happen is that when you have been in no contact and you two are interacting again, a lot of times the contact is not as frequent as it was. So maybe you two have started talking a little bit and you're hearing from each other throughout the day, but you're not seeing each other quite as much, and it's slowly building back to where your communication is regular again. The good news is showing them a small change, just a step in the right direction, gives that silence more power, because they start to see you through that lens. And so while you're not interacting with them as much, their reflection, their memory of you from yesterday to today is that you have improved. And so they start to build on that, and attraction, which is something that comes from within them towards you, will start to build. So it's very key here that you allow that to happen and that you don't rush any of this. And it's also very important to understand that breakup dynamics are different from relationship dynamics. So a lot of times people will say, well, they broke up with me because I wasn't showing them enough affection or I rejected them a lot. And so I've got to do now those things differently to show them or else they won't want to come back. Whereas that makes sense if you're in the relationship together or maybe they come to you and say, I'm just not feeling it. I want to keep trying, but these are the issues. Yes. Then you need to focus on immediate change. You need to be very communicative with them. But after a breakup, you need to allow it to happen in small pieces. And you get that ability when you have stayed away and given them the breakup, because then what you do is magnified because it actually matters. So to review, the reason you don't just overwhelm them with your change right away is because it doesn't matter to them right away. That's why you go into no contact to rebuild some of the value in the relationship, to allow them to reflect, to let them experience being without you so that they can miss you, because then what you do matters more. If they do not miss you, if they are glad to be away from you, which oftentimes they are in the first couple of weeks after the breakup, then those changes do not mean much to them. But if they can see the relationship with more value, see you with more value, and begin to think that they've made a mistake, then those changes matter a lot more. And the simple secret is all you have to do is show them over time where examples will come up and you can show that you're responding differently. You don't need to overwhelm them, and that can actually be bad. What you need to really focus on is positive interaction, conversations, closeness, and rebuilding some of that. And they will, along the way, be able to see those changes. So it's something you don't need to rush, and it will actually work a lot better. This segues very well into the next video I suggest that you watch. And it's called What Your Ex Needs to Come Back. It's in the end screen here. And so you just click it to watch it. But it's going to be a great step from this video to the next one to help you to further focus and really make your best effort, give yourself the best odds of getting your ex back. So click on the end screen here on the thumbnail to watch that video.